Hi folks, welcome back. Let's talk about how we're going to use these big modeling core elements to our advantage and then how to optimize with them properly. So starting with causal versus correlated. So causal measurement solutions. So these are designed to show the incremental impact of advertising. They tend to be more sensitive, and changing your experiment could alter your results in unintended ways. So review after the experiment is completed. No peeking, no trying to optimize in flight. And this is an experiment. This would be considered tampering. And it's often not possible to tell whether the tampering did anything to improve or decrease your overall performance of the campaign. So optimizing in causal solutions should be done after the test is complete and impact the future campaigns or future flights of the same campaign. We need more than a single test to make a very strong conclusion with causal measurement. So a sample of one simply isn't going to be enough. So remember that there are false positives, remember that there are false negatives at play. So we should really be looking for a decent number of tests before making any huge swings. Small adjustments between tests are really the way to go in order to make sure that you don't over rely on a single measurement result and then continue to test and test again. You need to understand how your test was designed. This is very important. Is it free of bias? Everything we covered in our inference module. Make sure that you're running a nice, robust test. And then really try to focus your learnings. Trying to turn a single test into dozens of learnings can encourage things like p-value hacking or just vague statistical corner cutting, and it'll always give you an answer, but it may be a misleading result. So correlated measurement solutions. So these are designed to help you understand which tactics are reaching buyers. Where are your buyers and what is it that they do? You can check these results immediately as one of the huge benefits of the solution. Maybe give it a few days to ensure that your people have time to make it to the register, but you can begin changing spend allocations pretty quickly with this type of solution. But keep in mind that results are not causal. They didn't necessarily buy because they saw the ad. They just happened to buy after they saw the ad. You can definitely test many tactics at once this way with tiny budgets, so test small and test often. But you still need to be aware of biases. Did Red Creative really work for me? Or did Red Creative work this one time in this one audience on this one sale for this one platform? So I'm going to say this one more time just because it's such an important issue in the industry today. But the most common optimization mistake is treating a correlated measurement solution like a causal one. Even in the language that we use around attributed performance, we'll say it drives more sales. But correlated measurement isn't a measure of changed behavior, of incremental behavior. It measures reach against buyers. And that's an important distinction, and it's a common optimization mistake, so I just wanted to say it one more time. All right, people versus population. People-based solutions tend to be more granular and able to discern interaction effects at a more granular level. If you're using this kind of solution, go after those types of insights. Make sure to capture those. A huge optimization mistake is running sophisticated people-based measurements and then using the most broad strokes of effects at the most aggregated level. You diminish the power of your optimization. So beware of the identity information that you're collecting. So both from a privacy as well as quality standpoint. Device versus household level optimizations can be very different from each other. So simply think about frequency capping. Frequency capping a household is far different than frequency capping a device. If you think that a device, there could be upwards of 10, maybe 15 devices in any single household, that's a far different frequency level that you're getting simply on a household versus device level cap. And as always, pay attention to bias. Are the people you're collecting data from representative of your full campaign reached population? This is an important one. I've absolutely looked at BrandLift results where all of the survey respondents were men, and that just happened to be the way that we collected the data and not representative of the full campaign. So on the population-based side, so this is a solution that really helps bring together hard to collect data sets. Also allows you to sidestep some privacy concerns. It has the potential to measure 100% of impressions and 100% of sales. Something no persons-based solution can offer, and that's because persons-based solutions are rooted in identity. Every time you join a data set to the identity, you experience some amount of drop-off, and then you won't be able to measure it. This also is really helpful for non-trackable and non-addressable media types. So how do you measure billboards or end caps or coupons in a newspaper? These can be hard or just prohibitively expensive to measure. So a population solution helps get all of these things together within a single methodology. All right, single touch versus multi-touch. So single touch solutions, they try to assert the impact of the conversion on a single event. So typically this is going to be the last ad event or the last click. This works nicely for consideration tactics, things like clicks. This also works well for understanding things like site traffic, and this can be perfect for a low or no consideration product. Think about a free app download or maybe an email sign up where the consideration period is essentially zero. But think of single touch solutions as demand capture, or where your buyers are going in order to buy, where they're going in order to purchase. Do they find you on Google search? Did Facebook nudge them and they decided to make the purchase? It's incredibly valuable, but it is absolutely not the full story. Multi-touch solutions. So this is going to be a better option for lower funnel events, as buying decisions are typically very complex. Path to purchase can help with understanding earlier touch points, and this can be absolutely useful for optimizing, removing certain publishers from the buy, removing certain avenues of purchase from the buy because they're not adding to the overall path to purchase story. This can also be a better solution when you need to compare across screens and across publishers. Single touch tends to bias towards a single publisher because you're only evaluating one event, the last event. Multi-touch is going to help balance that out across your full campaign buy. Heuristics versus models, or rules versus math. Heuristics. So this is going to give you answers fast, and it's going to give you answers consistently. The best rules are going to come from models. So we favor premium video inventory because we ran 10 experiments and it shows it drives incrementality. That's a fairly solid finding, and it helps you plan a buy that is going to work in a way that you've seen historically works for you. Now, some of these rules can be very scary, and some of these rules can be very dated. If you ran those 10 experiments 5 years ago to show that premium video is effective, that might no longer be true. So, but remember to focus on the big things, focus on the tigers. There's a lot of elements here that go into each of these solutions, so focus on the ones that are important. Heuristics are great for measuring in multiple places through the same methodology at the same time. On the model side, so these are going to be higher confidence, but are typically very slow when compared to heuristics. Use them when you require high confidence and the answers end up changing your actions, especially if those actions result in spending money, especially large amounts of money. Make sure that you're utilizing more sophisticated modeling techniques to make those types of decisions. Use them to build your rule set so that you can make faster decisions across the rest of your systems. And then you can also use them to just on the most complex situations. Things like path to purchase, things like dynamic creative optimization. These are very important modeling techniques. All right, big data versus representative data, very hot topic in measurement and has been forever. Big data, so a common approach to data, this is going to be a common approach for data aggregators, and it's the goal of most first-party data collection strategies. You're trying to collect as much as you can amongst your buyers. This is going to allow for the most depth of learnings as from a single measurement study. So the more data you got, the more slices or reporting breaks you can, the more reporting breaks you can make with granularity as well as robustness. It also helps when you're really trying to detect very small changes. So imagine a large CPG brand with a pantry staple product line. So I always think of Kraft mac and cheese, Blue Box. A 1% lift here could be huge revenue for that sort of product line because the base consumption rate is so high. But statistically, 1% lifts are very hard to detect. big data, that increased sample size is really going to be helpful in determining statistical significance in the measurement that you're running. So, and don't make the mistake of scale equaling quality. So you need to understand who is giving data and how it is being collected. Is it representative of the full population, or is it only representative of a certain subset of the population? Representative data. So this is going to be a more common approach for research firms. The goal is to be fully representative of the full population by utilizing a smaller but well-balanced and well-understood population. Because of this approach, if data is fragmented, it can be the best solution. It's a little bit easier to get more complete data on a smaller population. But beware that representative sets aren't all created equal. So understand how they're balancing, what population they are balancing against. And because panels are inherently smaller, when you factor up to the full population, you can sometimes get some weird answers. That you can reach more people in West Virginia than there actually are in West Virginia. So you need to be aware of these things as you're looking at these panel data sets and ensure that they're fully representative of the population and are scaled and factored in appropriate ways before you're making decisions off of them. All right, some final thoughts about this week's module. So brief 4 is this week, which is a deeper look into the case study. So please write a 1-page review of a single set of the measurement results from the case. All 3 of these are going to be in the case. Choose one set and evaluate that. Take a look at which model elements are used, what insights you can pull from the results that you're seeing, and then a recommendation for a future media plan based on these results. My advice, your final group should make sure that you cover all 3 of these solutions. It will help you prepare for the final as we get into that here very soon. Finally, if you're looking to explore further, and I really recommend you do, please check out these papers from Google and Facebook. It's a very deep dive into the way they execute randomized control trials. These are monsters in the industry. These are some of the most common measurement solutions that exist, so understanding how they work will absolutely be a benefit. I'd also encourage you to reflect on the ads that you see this week. What would be the perfect way to measure this ad that I'm currently seeing? Knowing that you may have an imperfect test, could it still be useful to advertisers? And if you got to build the tool yourself, which elements of the modeling would you bring in to create the ideal solution for you? All right, thanks folks. See you all next week.